The Dakar Rally, known as one of the most dangerous races on earth, came to prominence back in the 80s when racers slugged it out on the dunes for glory and titles. Fast forward to the present and that 80s Dakar spirit has seen a resurgence in the showrooms. Big names have paid homage to the golden era of dune-conquering motorcycles, with bikes like the Honda Africa Twin and Yamaha Tenere 700 proving a standout success with buyers. Now, another brand has thrown its hat into the ring, with Italian manufacturer Aprilia reviving a name from the 80s with an all-new mid-weight adventure bike, the Aprilia Tuareg 660. I'm Ollie from Adventure Bike Rider, and late last year I headed to Sardinia to test ride the Tuareg on the Italian island's network of trails and roads. Here's 5 things that I loved about that bike in 5 minutes. And stick around with me to the end, where I'm going to tell you exactly where you can test ride the Tuareg in the UK this summer. First up, let's talk about what's powering the Aprilia Tuareg 660. Beneath those stripped back fairings lie Aprilia's 659cc twin-cylinder engine, and it's the same power plant that can be found in the RS 660 sports bike and the Tuono 660. Those are road-focused machines that deliver peg-scraping thrills, which is a world away from the adventure touring and trail riding that Aprilia see the Tuareg doing. So Aprilia has brought down peak power and upped torque accordingly, with the tweaked engine now producing 80 brake horsepower and 70 Nm of torque. Don't let those changes fool you. This is anything but a toothless bike. Sure, the Tuareg is capable of cruising along happily in any gear, which is down to the fact that 75% of that torque is available from as low as 3000 RPM. But go searching for the power higher up in the rev range and it comes alive. It's seriously snappy, so much so that when I gunned the throttle in third to overtake a dawdling driver in front of me, I felt the front end get disconcertingly light. Top marks Aprilia. With a snappy engine at my disposal, Sardinian twisties ahead of me, and a fair helping of Italian rain, there was more than one occasion that I called upon the Tuareg's Brembo brakes. They did a cracking job too. With dual 300mm discs up front and a rear 260mm disc, there's ample braking power, which was really useful when I slightly overcooked things. The performance of the leggy suspension was also very impressive. The Kayaba setup provides 240mm of travel front and rear, which is perfect for off-roading. But as such, I kind of expected there to be a bit of compromise and maybe some dive and wallowing in the corners when I was on the road. Instead, there was only a hint of dip under heavy braking, and in the corners on the road, the bike felt planted and stable throughout. Seriously impressive stuff, which also performs off-road, which I'll tell you about in a second. So we know the Aprilia Tuareg 660 is snappy on the road, but the way it handles is also a massive plus. The Tuareg is a mid-weight adventure bike which is designed to be capable both on and off-road, and that's reflected in the 21-inch front wheel and the 18-inch rear, and both of them are clad in knobbly Pirelli Scorpion Rally STR tyres. On paper, this combination strikes a compromise between on-road riding and off-road riding. And yet, in practice, Aprilia has managed to deliver a bike that is an absolute joy to ride in the twisties. The steering is precise and nimble, flicking easily into bends and holding its line without requiring mid-turn inputs. It's one of the sportiest adventure bikes I've ever had the pleasure of riding, completely thrilling. To put it simply, there's no sign of compromise on the road. But is there any sign of compromise off of it? After all, this is a Dakar-inspired bike, and the Dakar didn't make its name by sticking to the blacktop. So how does this Tuareg fare off-road? Well, to put it simply, very well. Aprilia has struck a nice balance between unintimidating adventure bike and genuinely capable off-roader, with plush suspension, a relatively low wet weight of 204 kilograms, and plenty of power at your disposal. Off-road, the suspension really impresses. There's plenty of travel and it soaks up all of the lumps and bumps of a trail with ease. There's no jerky steering or pogoing when you hit a large rock or a boulder. It's also nice to see that I can switch to the off-road rider mode on the fly, which tempers the throttle response slightly and also switches off rear ABS instantly, which allows you to lock up the rear brake to come to a stop when you're riding on loose terrain. Now, it's one of 4 of the rider modes that you get on the Tuareg, which is pretty impressive for a mid-capacity bike that comes in just north of £10,000. Let's talk about the other 3 rider modes now. Whether you like tech on your adventure bike or not is down to personal preference, but I'm a self-confessed fan, and there's a comprehensive bill of tech packed into the slim frame of the Tuareg 660, all of which is designed to make life in the saddle safer and more comfortable for you. As standard, you get an attractive 5-inch TFT screen and cruise control, which are both pretty nifty features, as well as 4 rider modes. Now, they are the full-bore Explore mode, as well as urban, off-road, and a fully customizable individual rider mode. Now, that individual mode gives you greater control over the 4-level adjustable traction control, 3-level adjustable engine braking, and 3 different engine maps to alter the response of the throttle. It's an impressive offering of tech that rivals the likes of the Triumph Tiger 900 and the KTM 890 Adventure. And most crucially of all, it works away in the background without ever feeling intrusive, which is exactly what good riding tech should do. So there we have it, 5 reasons that I love the Aprilia Tuareg 660 in roughly 5 minutes. Now it's time for you to get out there and ride this bike for yourself. And if you're based in the UK, I know just where you can this summer. Aprilia will be joining us at the 2022 ABR Festival this year at the stunning venue of Ragley Hall in Warwickshire, and will be bringing a fleet of Tuaregs for you to test ride on the road. So come along and join us for a spectacular weekend of motorcycling from the 24th to 26th of June. We'll see you there. And as always, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the Adventure Bike Rider channel by hitting the button below, where you'll be able to stay up to date with the world of adventure biking and 2-wheel travel, with video podcasts, reviews and updates on gear and new bikes that are on their way. For now, ride safe.